6 tips for intermittent fasting for newbies. Okay? So if you've heard of intermittent fasting, which you likely have, you know this is the new thing for everyone. Everyone's talking about how great they feel, and it's amazing because you're not eating, so your body starts running on its own body fat, which is essentially going to help you get leaner. It's going to help you lose weight, in theory. Now, the question is, there's some mistakes that you have to avoid, though. Okay, number 1, you don't have to jump into it too fast. Okay, if you go from eating for most of your time that you're awake to now all of a sudden you got this 5-hour eating window or something crazy, 1 meal a day, that's going to be way too much for you. So you're going to have to start out with 12-hour fast and 12-hour feeding window. So 2 hours before you go to bed, you stop eating, and then if you sleep for 8 hours, then when you wake up, it's 2 hours. That's nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's your 12 hours. And then you can start stretching it, 3 hours before you go to bed, 3 hours in the morning. And then you'll feel it out, and you'll start to become more accustomed to what works for you. Okay? So that's number 1, is don't make anything too fast. Number 2, don't overeat. Because when you break your fast, you're going to be really hungry, and your body is going to be depleted of its glycogen levels, its stored energy. So what you're going to want to do is just sit down, eat slowly, okay? Break your fast first. I have other videos about that where you want to start. When your 16-hour fast or whatever you're doing ends, you just eat a little bit of protein or something like that. Let your body know the food's coming. Then, boom, you have your meal, but you want to make sure that you don't just gorge in and eat everything, because you might want to go to Subway in your first meal and just get 2 subs and eat them all. But that might be too much for you. Maybe not. You eat a lot. But if you want to make sure, because what's going to happen is you're going to get really full, but your body's still going to want more calories later and more nutrients later on in the day. So you still got to make sure you're getting good nutrients, okay? That's number 2. Number 3, don't drink the wrong liquids, okay? So you can drink black coffee, sparkling water, regular water. You can drink apple cider vinegar, which some people think that depending on, how strictly you want to fast, that might be called dirty fast or whatever. But, in the beginning, does it really matter? No. You cannot have any cream in your coffee. This will break your fast. No sugar. So get yourself some good coffee. And you can drink tea, too. Pretty much anything that doesn't have calories, you can drink. So in my personal fasting experience, I have drank some electrolyte formula with stevia, and that seemed to kind of adjust my fast a little bit, and it didn't seem like that I felt as good. So, but everyone's a little bit different. So, water, coffee, tea, all day long. If you want, drink 10 cups of coffee, but don't drink water. Sorry, don't drink anything that has calories. Okay, and then 4th one is going to be you can't rely too heavily on unhealthy foods. So you can't just eat, pizza for every meal, because your body's not getting you're not getting the nutrients. Think about it. You still need fiber. You still need tons of potassium. You still need all these vitamins, Your body doesn't just need calories. It breaks it down because it says we want vitamins. So that's number 4, is get lots of nutrients in. Good vegetables, which it's not that hard, especially when you get used to it. It's very easy. And also number 5 is what can happen. You can get too sedentary, because now you don't have energy, so you are kind of a little bit relaxed, and so you're like okay with not doing something, versus when you have food in your body, you're all energetic and you're ready to jump around, you're ready to move, let's go run. But when you don't have food, you can let it affect your workout, which is bad, so you got to learn to either push through that or adjust your fast or adjust your workout, depending on if you really want to stick to this. You're going to have to, you might make a little bit of changes here and there. And then also, you can add a little bit of salt water and stuff like that too, which, that's good too. But don't be too sedentary. Just make sure that you monitor your activity and also your calories, and make sure that you're still getting calories, because it's really easy to get less calories. Like I started when I was in the beginning, and all of a sudden at the end of the day, I was at like 1,200 calories, and I was like, oh shit, it's way too low for me. So be aware of that, is you can't be too sedentary. You got to make sure that you're at least meeting your same activity levels. And then the last one is going to be, don't let it ruin your life. Like, especially if you do the time-restricted eating, where you can only eat from like say noon to 8 p.m. But then this becomes really weird because people want to socialize, right? They want to eat with their friends or their family, but like what about on the weekends? What are you gonna do? What about Friday night when you want to go eat and it's 8 p.m. so I can't go out with you guys? Like, no, just take a chill pill, okay? And if you're hungry and it's 9 o'clock and you guys are out and you're like, oh well, just have a little bit, just enjoy yourself and listen to your body, okay? That's the bonus tip is don't be obsessed with the window where if you've been fasting every day for the last week and you're starting to get depleted because this can happen, you start losing electrolytes, boom, 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 your energy levels, and you're feeling bad and bad and bad, but every morning you're waking up and you're like, oh man, you're dragging, and you're like, nope, I'm fasting, then it just ends up having a negative effect on your life, which you don't want that to happen. Your quality of life and everything, you want it to be good still. So there's my 6 tips for intermittent fasting. There's a million things I could talk about, but this video would be way too long, so I can make more videos on that later. But in the meantime, peace.